What if I told you that there is more to learn from silence than talking? Think about it. God speaks loudly and vividly through silence. So many multimillionaires have recommended sitting in silence or meditation because this is wherein you learn information that no book, no person can ever teach you but silence. So many life-changing ideas have been discovered from silence. So the question is, if silence can have a tremendous impact in your life, a great impact in your life, why is it so hard for you to sit in silence with your own thoughts? This is where I come in to answer all of those questions, and you definitely want to watch until the end because this is life changing. You won't be the same after you watch this video. I won't waste any more of your time. Let's just jump right into it. Number one, the reason why it's so hard for you to be alone with your own thoughts is the fear of your own thoughts and emotions. This is a result of you suppressing your emotions or bypassing them. Each time you're faced with a difficult emotion or feelings, you want to shut it off or do something to just avoid it, you understand, and not pay attention to it. So it's going to be a hassle for you when you have to be alone with your own thoughts, because this is wherein it's sort of like you're coming face to face with it. Now you have to face it. It becomes a struggle, okay? If you always suppress your emotions, if you always avoid your emotions, you don't process them, you understand, you don't give it time, you understand, you don't sit with it, you always want to avoid it. It becomes a struggle when you have to sit with yourself, with your thoughts, basically, with no distraction. Number two, why is it so hard for you to be alone with your own thoughts? It's because of the wrong definition of happiness. It's crazy to think that some people think when you are happy, you have to be overstimulated. If you are not overstimulated, you are not happy. And I'm not judging you if you are that person, you understand? So it's a wrong definition of happiness. Being happy does not mean you always have to be stimulated. You can be calm or silent, or quiet, but still be happy, you understand? And you don't have to be overly stimulated. Again, habits or daily activities that engages to being overstimulated is social media. If you are always on social media, you are using your brain to instant gratification. You are using your brain to be always overstimulated because social media, it's so quick. You want something, you get it in a second, you understand? So your brain gets used to that. So of which is why you're going to be struggling to be with yourself. Being in silence with your own thoughts, it's going to be a hassle because you are so used to instant gratification. You want something, you get it now, you understand? So it's a whole different story now that you have to be alone. Your brain cannot tolerate silence, you understand? It's almost like your brain wanders, you understand? And another reason concerning to this point, it's always rushing. When you are always rushing, like you barely take time to calm down, you barely take time to wind down, you barely take time to just move with ease, to just enjoy life, to just sit and even appreciate the sun and appreciate the plants and appreciate that you are still alive. When you're always rushing, and this is not only to speak about maybe you're always late to a meeting, maybe you're always late to a meeting in your classroom for a job, like your second name, it's rushing. You're eating, you're always rushing. You're watching TV, there's something that you want to distract yourself with. You are in the toilet doing your business, you are on your phone, you understand? Everything that you do, it's almost like this is a never-ending cycle. You feel the need to be always rushing, you understand? Of course, it's going to be a struggle when you have to be alone with your own thought. When you're doing one thing, when you're doing one simple task slowly, just to you it doesn't feel enough. You feel the need to always multitask. It's going to be a hassle when you have to be alone with your own thoughts, with nothing like disturbing you, just you and yourself, you understand? It's going to be a hassle because your mind is not used to ease. Your mind is not used to quietness, you understand? It's going to be a struggle for you if you are always rushing. So in that instant, that means you only rest when you're sleeping. So let's go to number three. You subconsciously want to avoid boredom. You want to escape or avoid boredom. So that makes you want to always searching for things to do just to avoid that downtime, that quietness, you understand? I was speaking to one of, I won't say it's my friend, she's my friend, I'll call her an acquaintance. She just called me and she was like, yo, I'm so bored, the house is so quiet, the kids are at school, so I'm so bored, it's just boring. I'm thinking of watching a movie or something, or listening to music, something to just keep myself out of this very moment. I'm not trying to tell you, Uguti, you don't have to create your own happiness. Of course, you can tell Uguti, I'm not fine. I just need something to just zhuzh myself up. That's completely fine. But in this point, what I'm trying to tell you is that when those times will come and you want to fill it up with some things, but when all the time that's downtime, that's down moment comes to you, you want to suppress it, you want to find something to just distract yourself from it, you barely want to sit down and wind down and just listen to it. Because how can I say this, everything happens for a reason. So sometimes, while it might be good to be aware of yourself, I need something to just spark my day up, that's completely fine. You also need that downtime, you understand, to learn, to grow, to reflect. And my favorite part about the downtime is that you learn information that is specifically tailored for you, that no one can ever teach you. If you're a believer, you will know that God speaks. But when you're always rushing on it, when you're always avoiding it, like finding something to do, it might be with food, because food also distracts us, you understand? When you're chewing something, at least you're busy on your brain through that space of boredom. Actually, it's not boredom, it's just the downtime that you also have to allow, because it's not all the time you're going to be overstimulated, but you need that downtime to reflect, to relearn, you understand? You need that downtime. But when you're always avoiding it, it's going to be harder for you. It's hard already for you to sit in silence when you have to intentionally or purposefully sit with yourself alone with your own thought. It's going to be hard, because silence will always teach you something. That's downtime will always teach you something. When you feel like the place is so quiet, let me just surrender to the quietness of this place. There is so much more to learn, but people want to rush something. Maybe you're like, let me take a walk. You always want to put your earphones on. Let me sit in silence here. You want to listen to music. You want to press your phone. This is not sitting in silence, because you still have something disturbing you. You still have something taking some of your energy. You understand? I hope I'm getting my point across on this one, because I'm having a hassle trying to explain it, but I understand it personally. So let's go to the next one. I don't want to keep this video too long. Another reason that makes it harder for you to sit in silence with your own thoughts, it's called dependency. This is wherein you put everything and everyone on the driver's seat of your life, and you are at the back seat. You are basing your happiness to your friends. If they don't call you, send a message, ask you about something, your day is ruined already. It's a problem for you. If your man doesn't call you, it's another thing. Basically, your living is dependent to another person. It's going to be a hassle for you, because generally you don't understand yourself, you don't learn yourself. And it's crazy to even think, Uguti, there's so much more that goes in the matter of you being codependent to other people. You don't learn yourself, you don't study yourself, you don't know what you like, what you don't like, you don't know what you tolerate, things that you cannot tolerate. Because you are codependent. There are things that you show interest in. Maybe it might be a certain dressing way, or eating, or certain standard. It actually doesn't matter to you, but now it matters because it matters to another person. But once you start sitting down with yourself, once you start learning yourself in that downtime, you're going to understand, this thing, it doesn't mean so much to me. It's nothing to me, but it meant something because my life was still dependent on another person. You'll find you don't like going out on Fridays, you just love watching movie, being a couch potato, but to you it just was like, no, on Fridays it's just that time, man. But once you start sitting with yourself, you will learn yourself, you will understand yourself. So basically, when you are codependent, you are forever in this, I don't know, your world is always in turbulence, because you don't know what to expect, when to expect. You just don't know. Everything controls you. Your life, I don't know if it's safe to say your life is living you. You are not living your life. By accepting and allowing things and situations and people to happen, anything that comes and goes to you, it's also fine. So it's going to be harder for you, Sandasam, to sit with yourself, to learn yourself, to study yourself, because trust me, y'all, there is more to learn from sitting in silence. As I've already said on the intro, you learn so much more that nobody can tell you, because everything that you get to learn in that very moment has nothing to do with another person, but all to do with you. That's my favorite part of sitting in silence. Let's go to the last one. You are programmed to believe that being alone is boring, stressful, and lonely. It brings out thoughts that you don't want to entertain. It makes you do wrong things, you understand? And this point, I was just thinking of my grandmother when I was writing it down, because she cannot comprehend this idea. And one of my relatives, they also cannot comprehend the idea of being alone. It just feels like to them, yo, ungathi uzilethela stress, ucabanga izinto eziningi. It's programming sometimes. Maybe you are one of those people. You just think ukuthi ukuhlala uyi-one kwenza kuletha inkinga and all that. As a result, it makes you feel the need to be around people, to chase people who don't even matter to you. But for the sake of having people around you, so you escape or you run away from the idea of being by yourself. This is programming. It's not true, but it's not true unless you start to. Let me keep it here because I don't want to keep my videos too long. My next video is going to be about solutions. Excuse me. So please do make sure that you are subscribed so you don't miss out on the solutions parts and many more exciting contents that is yet to come on my channel. So I hope I do get my point across on this one. When you are subconsciously programmed to believe that being alone is boring, or hearing people, because sometimes that's another thing, you hear people telling you that sitting by yourself is boring. You have to think to yourself again, if it's boring, are they always happy because they're always around people? That's another thing. So you always have to make sense of everything, what people are telling you. And it's also okay to create your own beliefs about certain things. You don't have to wait on people to tell you what, you should do this. So please stay tuned for the next video. And I hope you've learned something. Please do make sure that you leave a comment down below or drop a heart if you don't have a comment down below. And from me, umathola omhle ke lerata ka lerato la love, not la like, because la like le chip. Bye bye.